Okay, so this is like completely unscripted. I just like wrote down a few notes because I have to rant about this. Like a couple days ago, or it was literally yesterday. It was yesterday. My friend took me to see this new movie about Anthony Bourdain as a teenager, Tony, okay? And just to clarify, I know basically nothing about the real life of Anthony Bourdain. This was entirely my friend wanted to see this movie, and I was just kind of like I had like zero context, and I liked a lot of things about it. I liked the way the shots were framed and the visuals in general. I really liked the main guy's acting. And a lot of the montages and the punchy moments were really fun. You know, it's set in the 70s. It's like kind of there's like swag to it, you know? Now, at the start of this movie, I was really excited because I was like, okay, this is a movie about an egotistical brat who gets his ass handed to him and ends up becoming a better person. And I guess that kind of happens in the movie. He does get punched, but honestly, the only real like development, like character development that Tony has, he becomes a bit more honest and less of a liar. But like even though he stopped trying to be like a pretentious writer, he ended up just trying to be a pretentious chef instead. And all of his like selfishness was kind of just like validated by the movie. Like all of his like ego like that the movie was clearly making fun of at the start. Like it was you're clearly supposed to like think he's like this little like spoiled brat teenager um at the start of the movie, but then you're kind of supposed to think like, "Oh, look how far he's grown." Or look how far he's come. Look how much he's grown by the end. But he like low-key hasn't that much. Like it's like okay, 3 months later and he's gone through this like whole spiritual awakening or whatever, and it's like okay, well he's still like an asshole. He earns the respect of the other kitchen workers. Specifically, I one guy's name's Sal, and the other guy is played by Stavros, but I don't know the character. I don't remember the character's name. And then there's the two black guys who are like not relevant at all, which is another kind of thing that I thought was a little bit weird. But anyway, he earns the respect of these of like the other kitchen workers by proving his masculinity. Like literally his physical strength. Like at the like in the first day they're like calling him the F slur, and then by the end it's like he proves his like he's like strong enough to like crush a potato into or whatever it was to like slice the potato and thing. Um so it's like it's a very like kind of traditional aggressive masculinity that he's like kind of acclimating into, which is like I guess that's a type of character development, but I don't know if I would call it growth because it seems like what he's also kind of things that Sal is getting him involved with and like teaching him to do are like harassing and borderline assaulting women and doing drugs, which and my friend had a little bit more input on this, but like I feel like maybe the movie should have focused a little bit more on that, like the like addiction and like that side of things. Like I feel like that could have been a more like an interesting thing that could have been a storyline. I don't know. Again, I don't know have a lot of the real life context, but that's something that was like it was kind of only in just like a couple scenes. And the women in this story exist only as eye candy and a potential reward or item to collect. The waitress Mary only serves the purpose of being harassed at the start of the movie so that Tony can get punched, so that the restaurant owner can take pity on him, so that Tony can have his whole story take place. So she basically just exists to get bothered so that Tony's whole story can take place. And then after that first scene with her, she's like pretty much irrelevant, even though the kitchen guys are working with her every single day. And it honestly, it makes me kind of hard to empathize with the restaurant owner because it's like, okay, you're one waitress, the one woman who works for you, got harassed by this kid. This kid gets punched, you feel sorry for him, and then you take him under your wing and make him your prodigy and get him to work in your restaurant. And this woman who he was harassing now has to be his coworker. Like, I don't know, if I was Mary, I would be pissed. I would be so pissed. And like you just know that like all of those asshole dudes in the kitchen are like you they don't show it in the movie, but like surely like they're being awful to her too. Like I don't know, but she's like just so unimportant after that first bit and it's like she just disappears from the narrative. Now, to the main point, the main girl, Nancy, is honestly one of the worst female characters I've seen in a long time. Her only trait is being pretty. she's doesn't really have much of a personality beyond that. She seems kind of smart. I guess she's a photographer, but none of that really matters. Like she's kind of just interchangeable with any other pretty girl, and like the story wouldn't really change that much. Like it doesn't matter if like the details of her personality were like a little bit changed, or her life, her as an individual doesn't matter. It's just the fact that she's pretty. And it's weird because the whole plot kind of hinges on Tony running away from home to try to get with her, and yet I feel like he has no like reason for liking her beyond her being hot. And the actress is gorgeous, yes, but it's impossible for me to root for them to get together if it's just like an arbitrary hot person. I feel like the movie never quite acknowledges how insane this whole thing is, that he just like runs away from home, concocts this whole lie. And I get the lie that like you're struggling to keep up is like a trope. It's like kind of like the Dear Evan Hansen thing. I get it. That can be, personally it stresses me out. I don't like it that much, but I get why that's like a narrative trope. But it's just so bizarre. And what makes it even more bizarre is that they didn't have to write it like this. They didn't have to make it about him stalking her like 2 states over and like entering this whole predicament because he just like couldn't stop stalking this one girl. Because that whole plot line was fictional. Like that didn't happen like in real life. In real life, the character that she's based, or the person that this character is based on in real life, was the person that Anthony Bourdain was like high school sweethearts with, and they got married and then later eventually got divorced. But there was none of like, they were in the movie, Tony is 19, and in real life they would have already been dating like from when they were in high school. Which is why it's weird that it's like even in the movie they're like saying that like they went to the same high school, but like they didn't get together because like she was like the one of the popular girls and he was like a weird loser who wouldn't shut up about his book that he was trying to write, that was concepts of a plan of a book. Anyway, if it had just been about like this guy being like a pretentious asshole and like but with like without the misogyny, I would have eaten this shit up. But it's like, okay, like you can be like a pretentious little shit about your book, but then like don't stalk a girl. Don't go harass people. Like, oh my god. Come on, man. And he should have gotten the shit beat out of him more. Sal should have gotten the shit beat out of him a lot more. I was so pissed that none of the girls ever kicked him in the balls. I was like yelling at the girls to kick him in the balls when I was watching this movie. Oh my god. It pissed me off so badly. Okay. But anyway, so according to the writers, and well, according to this article that I read, the real life Anthony and Nancy, apparently their connection was based on a meeting of the minds. They were wordsmiths who got a kick out of each other's brains. They were both the smartest, quickest people in the room, always going for the joke. This was a very playful, witty relationship. And that sounds like a much more entertaining sort of character dynamic that I actually would have rooted for in the movie. If Nancy was actually shown to be smart and witty at all. Like, the characters could have been portrayed as, like, kind of more equals in a way, instead of just, like, him being awkward and stalking her and her just kind of, like, reacting very blandly. She's, like, kind of weirded out and kind of into him, but she never really shows much emotion at all. And it could have been this like fun kind of like mutual banter type of relationship, and I feel like you almost get that in the one scene where she's like taking photos of him like outside and like with like the car that he's like posing in front of some random person's car. Like you get like 3 lines of dialogue that are like what the entire like relationship in the movie could have been. It could have just all been fun like that instead of, and it's not to say that there couldn't be conflict, but like the conflict could have portrayed this female character as like an actual human person, like in the context of the story, instead of just like an object, basically. So the writers said that they tried to capture that witty dynamic, but I think they failed to do that. Nancy makes a couple jokes in the movie, but they're kind of dumb. If she was written with just a little bit more attitude even, I think her scenes would be a lot more enjoyable. And really, I'm just like, can there be something behind her face? Can there be something behind her eyes? Can she be even, no fictional character is a real life human person. But if you're gonna develop, you know, the other, like, kitchen guys like that, but not the girl who is very important to the ostensibly very important to the story's narrative, but she has like nothing in terms of character development to make her feel like a person that you could potentially relate to or something like that. It's like that's just like low-key just bad writing. Like, and this is an issue I have more generally with the getting the girl narrative, just in stories in general. The love interest woman is basically just a goal to be achieved. She rejects the guy over and over, but eventually he's rewarded for his persistence when she finally decides that she likes him in the end. And that's not the type of romantic story that I can resonate with. Even if the genders were swapped, I feel like it would still be lame. How am I supposed to be excited about two characters, like, kissing if I haven't seen them having a single conversation that either of them was enjoying? Like, am I crazy for that? Like, the way that the writers are describing, like, how like the real Anthony and Nancy, like how their dynamic was in real life, like that sounds so much more interesting, and that would make Nancy not be such a like boring interchangeable, you know, kind of cardboard cutout of a character. Like, if her personality, if her like wittiness and smarts were like emphasized, then it would feel like, oh, there's a reason that these people like each other. Honestly, I think she should have been like a little bit of like a asshole in the same way that he is. Like, I feel like if she was also kind of a pretentious asshole in the same way, like then I would have been like, okay, they're perfect for each other. But no, instead she's just like the most boring person on the planet. And it's like this happens in so many movies. And I'm kind of used to it because in a lot of movies you can kind of just like ignore the female character because she's just like not she just has nothing. She's not a character. But it's a little upsetting to see it in a movie that came out this year because it's like, man, like I kind of thought we were past this. You know, when I was younger, I used to think that I didn't enjoy like straight romance stories in like movies and TV or books. I used to think that I didn't enjoy them because I was a lesbian, but I'm not a lesbian. It's just that well-written straight relationships that are actually like fun and relatable to me in the slightest are genuinely just so difficult to come by. Anyway, I mean, I know I'm insane, but like I'm not insane for this. I'm not insane for saying all of this. There may be like a couple things that I said that were like actually insane, but generally, my general point about like sexism and shit is not insane. Peace out.